I'm Peter Loshak. We are talking right now with Dave Golokhov, a longtime SBR contributor who has recently gained a ton of respect for his NFL handicapping and some videos that we do every week. Now we're going to talk to him about an NBA Christmas betting system that he believes is very profitable. Dave, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So you don't just do NFL, huh?
Listen, you got to cover all the bases. You got to be versatile in this world, Pete.
Yes, for sure. Versatile. Versatile. Very, very important in many aspects of life. All right, so tell us about this Christmas NBA betting system that you have.
Well, basically, it's not my system. Just so I throw it out there. Otherwise, we'll have negative comments
Sure.
saying, that I'm stealing somebody's copyright or something like that. It's a system that's been around for a while, and it's called the Christmas betting system because basically what you do is you give teams, you watch the NBA, you kind of let it play out through until Christmas, and then once teams have 20, 25 games under their belt, then you start using the system, and basically you get a good idea of, how teams are actually playing after the first quarter, third of the season. Early on in the season, you might have some teams that start 6-2, 7-3, something like that, and it's a bit of a mirage. But by Christmas time, things really settle down, and then you can get a good idea of who's who in the zoo.
Okay, so it's how does this system work?
Basically, what you do is you're going to look at the winning percentages of both sides. So you're going to take the winning percentage of Team A and subtract it from Team B. So you take the higher one, subtract the lower one, and you're going to get a number. So let's say one team has won 80% of their games, that's 800, and the other team's won 40% of their games, that's a 400 winning percentage. So you subtract the two, you get 400. You get a difference of 400. Then you divide it by 20, and you work with the spread from there. So that's basically by doing that, you're sort of calculating what you think, what you're projecting the spread would be. You also subtract 10 from that number, and then you compare it to the actual spread. So if yours, if you say in that specific case, you do the math and in your matchup, your team should be favored by 9, but the actual spread is favored by 2 or 3 points. Then you would obviously go with the favorite, and that's basically how it works.
Okay, and how long? So this lasts from Christmas Day all the way through the end of the year?
Yeah, I know it sounds a bit confusing. It's kind of one of those things that when you talk about or you hear about for the first time, it's more confusing than it actually is. When you do it on paper, it looks pretty simple. You just subtract the winning percentage of the two teams, divide by 20, and you're going to get a number from there. And at that point, you subtract 10 again, and then you compare it to the actual spread.
And don't you factor? Do you factor in home court advantage?
You do factor home court advantage. So 3 points are given. You'd add 3 points to the team if they're favored at home, and you'd subtract. Or you'd subtract 3 if they're on the road.
All right. So this is does this work for all winning percentages, or any qualifiers you like to throw in?
Yes, there are some qualifiers for this game. First off, you don't bet at any point when a team's in a back-to-back situation. If there's an injured starter who's not in the lineup, you also don't use the system. And then you also exclude any games with a posted line of 10 points or more.
All right. So have you back tested this? How successful was this season? Let's say last year.
Well, historically, this system hits at about 60%. That's kind of the traditional number that people, estimate for this. I personally don't use any system just blindly, on a night-to-night basis. This is just one of the tools that I use on top of a number of other things, such as statistics and instincts and stuff like that. 60% is pretty good. I think for the most part, people will be pretty happy with that. But it's not 80, 90, 100%. So you got to be careful. I personally would suggest start with small units. If the first few wins hit, then you can obviously start playing with a little bit more of the house's money. But by no means is this a foolproof system that works blindly all the time.
All right. Well, if it's a system that really is hitting at a successful positive EV rate and it gets widely known, then that edge will go away, won't it?
Possibly, yeah. I think it's it's not a new system by any means. I think it's something that if you're an odds maker, you're probably accounting for a little bit, but the system is the system. If you do the math and it works, then you can choose whether or not to make the play. So that's just traditionally how it works. I didn't come up with it. Again, I don't use it blindly, but it's a good tool to keep in mind. And if you read the article, it explains further how this works and how to do the math, and people can be their own judge as to whether they want to use it or not.
Sure. Okay. Well, great info, Dave Golokhov. Thanks for sharing all this with us.